I just want to thank you guys for being here. My name is Zachary. I'm over our youth ministries here at First.church, and it's literally my dream job, getting to be here and getting to speak with you, getting to share with you this morning. If it is your first time here, I just want to say welcome. I literally know that you could be anywhere. You could be at home Netflixing or watching Disney Plus, because let's face it, Baby Yoda is the cutest thing out there right now. Just real talk. But I just want to thank you for being here with us this morning. And before we go on any further, I do want to take a moment to welcome our online audience. Thank you so much for just being a part of what Jesus is doing here in Wheatfield and DeMott, and soon to be Hebron as we go up there in 2020. And if there is any way that we can be praying for you, if there is any way that we can be coming alongside you, I would just love for you to let us know, and we would love to be praying for you. Our staff loves to do that. And also I want to give a big shout out to our Jasper County Jail campus, both the men's and the women's services. Thank you so much for being just a part of this today. This is, like I said, our last service of 2019 before we go into 2020, and it's so exciting. But before I do go on to this service, I just wanted to take a moment and talk about our senior pastor and share, because the thing is, he can't brag on himself, and I feel like throughout this past year, it's just been so awesome to see our senior pastor. The thing is, each year, our senior pastor encourages us to get a word for our year, but then also he gives us a word for the church. And our word for that year has been relentless. And so he's been encouraging us to be relentless in everything we do. He's been encouraging us to be relentless in our pursuit of God and our pursuit of people. And it's just been so cool to see our senior pastor not just tell us to be relentless, but also give the example of being relentless. Just so y'all know, he comes and works 6 days a week, comes in at 8:30 in the morning, works till like 9 o'clock at night, or has been for these past 4 months in our capital campaign, having house meetings, going to life group meetings, and letting people know about the capital campaign and everything that is happening. And I just want to just give a shout out to him, because our man of God, our leader here, our senior pastor, isn't just saying, hey, you go and you be relentless, but he is being an example of how to be relentless for us as well. So I'm just so thankful for Pastor John, for the leader that we have, and for the friend that I have. He's actually the father of my godchildren. So shout out to him. Yeah, his kids are my god kids. So yeah, but wow, it has just been such a great year so far. You know, where this is the last service of 2019, and for me personally, I don't know about you guys, but it's been a year of change. You know, I was dating my then girlfriend. We got engaged, and now we're married. This is my first time preaching up here on a Sunday when I'm married. Yeah. But it's been a year of transition, you know, going from, dating life to engaged life to married life, learning how, to live together. And this past week, we had our first Christmas as a married couple. We went over to Blair's parents' house, my in-laws, and there, her father actually, he always deep fries a turkey. But you know what? He went above and beyond this year. He was like, not only am I going to deep fry a turkey, I'm going to try grilling one. We're going to see how that goes. I was like, I don't know how this is going to work out. But guys, it was literally the best turkey I've ever had in my life. Also, side note, I have way too much turkey in my fridge. If any of you guys want leftover sandwiches, just come on over. I am a pro at making those. But again, it's been this year of transitioning, this year of coming into, new beginnings. And I started thinking about it. All of us are going to be going into a transition within 3 days. It's going to be a new year altogether. And the thing is, we always look to this new year expecting change. And I actually I brought this door up here as a sermon illustration to show you guys, just a little bit about, going into new transitions. But it's not just a normal door that was built by Doug Hoisington. This is actually the door 2.0. It's the next level of doors, because this is what I like to call a magical door. When you walk through this door, you become a new person. You become better. You become happier. The grass is literally greener on the other side of this door. You get a new outfit, new hairstyle. All of the stress that was on this side, you don't have it anymore. You don't necessarily need your lavender essential oils over there on the other side of this door to bring your stress away, your anxiety down. It is a magical door that brings you more joy, more peace, more happiness. And as I say that, get ready, because it is a magical door. There we go, with a light change and everything. Everyone goes ooh and ah. And all that you have to do to get this is go on to the other side, and your life is better. It is happier. It is just altogether a change. Now, all you have to do is walk through. Somebody was like, "Wow!" I'm like, "Yes, this is great." And what happened? You have to, in order to get this going, you have to latch on and off, unlock, and then get this going. Okay, and then we have to count down all together, okay? So if you guys would count down from 3 with me. 3, 2. All right, guys, I am happier. I am more joy-filled. I am better on this side. I don't need my lavender essential oils that I needed over there. I am stress-free. Oh, my goodness. Everything is so much better over here. I have a new outfit. Nothing. It's the same outfit. Yeah, nothing changed. For real. Thanks. Okay, we're going to try this again, okay? Is that okay? We're going to try it one more time. This door, it worked before. Okay, you have to toggle it. Okay. Lock on and off. Okay, light bulb. Okay, this is a magical door. Once you go through this door, you are happier, you are more fulfilled. All you have to do is pass through this door, and the grass is literally greener on the other side. All your worries, all of your stressors, guess what? They are left on this side of the door. Once you walk through this door, everything is different. Will you count down one more time with me? 3. All right, yes, I am different. Yay, everything is different in this outfit. It's the same, shoes are the same, hair is the same. It didn't work. David, he can't hear me. David, one more time. Okay, we're gonna try this one more time, okay? Can we do it one more time, everybody? Okay, a toggle. Okay, you can do this. I believe in you right now, okay? They don't believe in you, but I believe in you, okay? Okay, we're doing this again. Everybody, this is a magical door. Once you go through this magical door, everything is happier, everything is better, everything is perfect. On the other side of the door, the grass is literally greener. You can have a fulfilled life. All you have to do is enter to the other side of the door, and you can have a different outfit. Just walk through it and just work, okay? Will you count with me? 3. 2, 1. Oh, nothing happened. Maybe you guys aren't counting loud enough. I'm just kidding. But the thing is, it would be absurd of me to think that simply walking through this door, simply going from here to here, hey guys, is going to change me. It would be absurd and sort of crazy for me to think that simply walking through this door would make me a different person, would make me better, would make me stronger, would make me wiser. Why? Why is that? Because the way that we leave a room is the same way that we enter a room. The way that we are on this side of the door, walking through the door, isn't going to change anything. We are still the same person because the way that we leave a room is the way that you enter a room. It would be absurd of me to think that just walking through this door is going to change me, make me better, make me smarter. But how many of us go into the new year each year with that same mindset, with that same way of thinking? Oh, you know what? 2019 was horrible. It was the worst year yet. It's a new year, new me. I cannot wait for January 1st. But get the Instagram ready. I'm leaving all my drama behind in 2019. I'm walking through and I'm going to become a new person. And then you get through on the other side. You still have the same clothes. You still have the same drama. Nothing has changed. So, how can we walk through this door and actually have a different year? How can we walk into 2020 and this new decade, this new year, and actually experience change, actually experience a better year than the year before? Because guess what? Walking through this door isn't going to change. And I feel like for so many of us, some of us have given up on thinking, you know what, walking into that new year, it's just going to be different, right? It's going to be better. We've given up on that. And this door isn't just a door into the new year, but it's a revolving door where we live the same year on repeat, year after year after year. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. But the thing is, nothing will ever change unless you change it in here before you walk through this door. Nothing is going to change on the other side unless you decide to change over here as you're walking through, unless you decide to make this your best year yet. So, First Church, how can we make this our best year yet? How can we grow? How can we become more like Jesus? How can we make sure that the grass will actually be greener on the other side? Or if it is dead, how can we learn to water it, right? How can we grow in this year? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because I want to talk with you guys about that. Walking into 2020, how do we do it? The first thing that we need is vision. And that's a fancy word, vision. A lot of people use it. But what it really means is that we need an overarching mission for our lives, an overarching purpose, a vision for our life. And that's something that I love here at First Church. Pastor John every year encourages us to pick a word for our year, a word that is going to be that vision, that is going to be that purpose in our year. And why is that so important? Well, in Proverbs, the wisest man ever to live other than Jesus, Solomon, actually bears it out for us in Proverbs 29, verse 18. And I want you guys to pay attention, because if the wisest man ever were talking to us, we would lean in and listen, right? And so we should lean in at this point. In Proverbs 29, 18, Solomon says, "Where there is no revelation, people cast off restraint. But blessed is the one who heeds wisdom's instructions." In other translations, it says, where there is no vision, where there is no overarching purpose, no revelation of your greater goal, your meaning, your vision in your life, the people perish. Your dreams perish, your resolutions perish, your goals perish. Why? People cast off restraint. But there's some good news. He says, but blessed is the one who heeds wisdom's instructions. A vision in our life allows us to not just walk through that door meandering like we have throughout our entire life. Before I knew Jesus, I would go into the New Year's and it would look, I wouldn't walk through on purpose. I wouldn't walk through with a vision. It would look something like this. I would be fumbling. I would eventually find the door knob. I don't know how this is going to work out. There we go. And then I would fall through the door to crawl into the next year and get more bruises on myself for the sermon illustration, right? And nothing would change. But the thing is, with Jesus, after I gave my life to Jesus, there was something about my life that was different. I had a vision. I had a meaning for my life, to know God and to make God known. And so with that, and with my word for each year, I can walk through this door with purpose, for a purpose, on purpose. And so each year I go along and I listen to Pastor John, and then I go and I pray and I seek God's wisdom, and I seek out a word for my year to give me a vision, an overarching mission. Last year my word was pursuit, and it showed up in a few different ways throughout my year, but it helped me to focus on my pursuit of Jesus, on my pursuit of God in every area of my life. It helped me to read my Bible, because I knew that God was calling me to pursue Him first and foremost. It helped me with my pursuit of my then girlfriend, then fiance, now wife. I pursued her throughout the year, and I learned how to pursue her. I learned what her love language was. I learned how to pursue her each and every day. But then also, in a third way, it helped me to realize that I needed to keep pursuing people that were near to me but far from God. And so that vision helped me throughout my entire year. It gave me purpose, so that as I walked through this door, I wasn't just fumbling through, falling through, but I was opening this door on purpose and walking through with a vision in mind, with an overarching mission for my year. So what's the vision for your life? For me this year, Pastor John said, hey, go home and pray about it. So I went home, I prayed, I was asking God, what do you want my vision for the year to be? And this word, just brace yourselves, because it's not a Zachary word. Zachary, you think it's going to be like joyful or exuberant or, awesome, amazing. My word was hollow. I was like, Jesus, this sounds a little depressing. Like, what you getting at here? And I kept praying and seeking that out and asking for God's wisdom. And I realized that God was calling me to hollow me out of myself, remove Zachary's wants, my desires, my goals, my ambitions, so that He can fill me with His dreams, His goals, His vision, His ambitions in my life. And then also to further empty me of myself, so I can be full of Jesus. Because Zachary can't change anybody, but Zachary filled with Jesus, Jesus can change a life through that. So that vision, where there is no revelation, people cast off restraint. That vision helps me each year and helps our church each year to walk through the door into the new year, to walk into 2020 on purpose, with a purpose, and for a purpose. Well, what's that word going to be for you this year? I encourage you, take some time, go home. It doesn't have to be a 4-hour thing. Just go home and ask God, what is my word going to be for that year? I print it out. I put it in my office. I put it in my bathroom, so that when I wake up, I see it, and I realize that I need to be hollow. I need to be full of Jesus, but empty of myself. What's your overarching vision for your next year going to be? Well, how are you going to walk into this next year on purpose, instead of fumbling possibly like you have through every year before? So how do we walk into 2020? First, we have our vision. We have our overarching mission. And once we get that, then from that vision, from that word, or that overarching goal comes, overarching word, comes 3 goals in our life, goals. One of the things here at First Church that our staff does is each year at the beginning of the year, every staff member meets with their direct report. And then they set aside 3 goals that they want to achieve throughout the year in their department. And it's just something that's been really helpful for me to see, to see those goals, to have them before me, to know where I am going. And it's something that I've actually started doing in my personal life. What are 3 goals that I have for my life that are attached to that word hollow, that are going to help me to pursue God, that are going to help me to walk through this door on purpose? Because guess what? Walking through this door on purpose, that's just the first step. Once you get through this door, how are you going to continue to pursue God and the vision that he has for you, to pursue the goals that he has for you? How are you going, what are you going to exceed at and succeed at, and what goals are you going to reach in between this door and the next door? Goals are so important for us because it's something measurable that we can see, hey, you know what? I want to be here by the end of this year. And let me get it straight. It's not resolutions saying, you know what? I want to be skinnier in 2020, or I want to stop smoking in 2019. It's attaching it to a goal, saying, you know what? Attaching it to a greater vision, saying, I want to be healthier so I can see my grandkids grow up, or I want to be a better parent for my kids than my parents were for me, so that they can grow up knowing what true love looks like, right? Just setting those goals that are attached to the mission. What are your goals for this year, and how can you set them? Because they are so important. I actually have my friend Loginius Boone coming out here. He actually set a goal, I don't even know, his freshman year to graduate high school early, and he totally reached it. He graduated was it last Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
Friday from high school early. Okay, Logan, so I've told you a little bit about this, but guess what? There is a line here, okay? And I want you to jump as far as you can, okay? I want you to leave everything out. Literally, I want you to go as hard as you can, as far as you can, and I want you to see how far you can jump, okay? So everybody, we're going to count down from 3. I've already warmed them up for you, okay? Right. So are you all ready? We're going to go 3. There we go. Oh, there we go. Stick it. Okay, don't cheat. Okay, I'm going to put a line there. There we go. Okay, now I want you to go back to the first line. Hey, that was great. Give me a high five. That was awesome. Okay, you did really great. You went harder than I even thought, okay? You see that goal that you see that line there?
Yep.
I actually want you to exceed that line, okay? That not only is your goal to meet, I want you to actually go further than that, okay? We know you can already get there. Now can you go further than that? Okay, we're going to count down from 3 for you. On your mark, get set. 3. 2, 1. Yes! Oh, that's like a half a foot. There we go. Let's give him some. Hey, give me a high five. Thank you, high school graduate. But when we set goals for our life, when we can set those things aside and say, you know what, I want to be here, it helps us not to just wander through the next year, but it helps us to know, hey, I want to be here. Before I get to the next door, before I get to 2021, I want to succeed and I want to exceed at these goals. What are those goals that are attached to your greater vision? How can you reach them? Because the thing is, without lining them out, without saying, hey, you know what, this goal here, I want to be there, you aren't going to reach them. Just having a vision, yes, that is great. That is the first step. But what are those goals? What are you going to accomplish in between this door of 2020 and the next door of 2021? How can you trust in God more? How can you learn to exceed your goals and learn to grow with Jesus more and more every day throughout this year? So how do we walk through 2020? First off, we have our goal, or we have our vision, our overarching mission in our life. Second off, we get our goals. We go home, we write out our 3 goals. Hey, here are 3 things that I want to exceed at. And then, if you're brave enough, I want you to go a little, maybe your goal is you want to tell 3 people about Jesus. Well, you know what? That's where you're thinking in yourself. You're like, okay, you know what? I can do that. But where can you actually go if you say, you know what? I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to trust in Jesus. And then go a little bit over that so that you can see yourself exceed that with Jesus. And then also learn to trust in him more. If we could set aside those goals, if we could say, you know what, I want to do this, what could we as a church accomplish in 2020? What can we accomplish in between this door and the next? So we have our vision, we have our goals. Now, the next thing, these 2 things, we've been picking them up. We've been taking on those things. But next, I want to talk to you about the issues that we need to leave behind in 2019. I feel like for so many of us, we carry on these issues day after day after day. And maybe your issues the things that you're carrying down or weighing you down, that may look like fear. It may look like anxiety. It may be an addiction. It may be a relationship. It may be anger or bitterness or resentment. But the thing is, each year, as we walk throughout this year, I just see people, instead of laying things aside, picking up more things, picking up that fear, picking up that anxiety, is starting to identify with it. And the thing is, as you walk through this door with purpose and with goals, if you walk through this weighed down by all of the junk that you've been walking through with your entire life, you're just carrying those same issues into the next year. How can we leave those issues behind? How can we leave those behind in the last year? I remember a friend one time, he was like, hey, you know what? I'm so excited to move into a new house. My current one is really smelly. And he was like, that new one's just going to smell great. But the thing was, he walked into this house, brought his same smelly furniture with him, that same smelly couch that he got, on the side of the road. And guess what happened? His house started smelling the same way. How many of us have looked into year after year thinking this year is going to be different, but we bring in the same issues with us year after year and nothing ever changes? In Hebrews, the author knows that this was something that we were going to experience. The author here in Hebrews talks about how we can actually do this and the importance, why we should leave issues behind, why we shouldn't allow them to weigh us down. So in Hebrews 12:1, the author says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. Let us run with endurance the race that God has set before us. Here the author, he lays out in Hebrews 11 all of the heroes of faith. We call it the Hebrew Hall of Faith before. And he talks about all of the heroes in our faith that have gone before us and all the great deeds they have done. And then he says, therefore, since you are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses, by people cheering you on, by people saying, you can achieve those goals in 2020, you can achieve those goals in your life, in the vision, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses, let us strip off every weight that slows us down. I think about it, and we can have vision and we can have goals every day of our lives. But if we are walking through this year weighed down by the same stuff that we have walked through every door of our life with, every year of our life with, how far are we going to get? Or how long is it going to take these things to weigh us down to the point where we give up? The author there says, let us strip off every weight that slows us down. And then he says, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, especially the sin that trips us up, that makes us fall on our face, that keeps us from reaching our goals, from reaching all that God has set out for us. Let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. And he says, let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. How do we strip off these weights? How do we take off the things that have been tripping us up throughout our life? First off, we need to identify them. What are those things in your life that you have carried throughout your entire life? Maybe it is fear, maybe it is anxiety, maybe it's depression, maybe it's a bitterness or resentment, maybe it's a relationship that has been pulling you down. But what are those things? We need to identify it first. Even think about how many years, how many doors have you walked through lugging that weight? You need to identify it, and then you need to make a plan. Okay, you know what, Jesus? I have had crippling fear my entire life, but you know what? I think I'm going to choose my word, trust, as my vision for the entire year, and throughout this year, I'm going to trust in you more, or I'm going to choose to be more courageous. Instead of anxiety, Jesus, I want you to replace it with peace, and that will be my vision for the year, and I want to have peace in my life. What are those ways that you can identify the things that have weighed you down and then make a plan to no longer have them on your life anymore? What's the way? And then also, the third way to do that, you first identify, you make a plan, and then you go to other people. Because guess what? Sometimes it's hard to take this weight off all by yourself. But together we're strong. Is there a life group that you can join and meet other people who are walking along in faith too? There are 40 life groups that we have here at First Church that you can join and you can be a part of and meet people who you can say, hey, you know what? I am just feeling overcome. I am feeling weighed down by my fear, by my anxiety. Will you come alongside me? Will you help me? Or could you start volunteering and getting involved with people, back in the nursery or in our production team or First Impressions, where you can meet people and say, hey, can you pray for me in this way? I don't want to carry this fear or anxiety into 2020 with me. I want to leave my issue behind in 2019. How can you do that? First off, we identify, make a plan, and then we trust other people. And then I love what the verse says. Why do we do that? We strip off every weight that weighs us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. And then the author says, and let us run with endurance the race that God has before us. God doesn't just call us to walk through life, to crawl through life, to roll through life, even though so many of us have, but in a different way. He's calling us to walk through this year with purpose, with goals, but then also to run after him, run our race with endurance, full speed, going after Jesus in everything that he has for us, going after all of the goals. How do we walk into 2020? First off, we walk through with vision. Well, what is that overarching mission for your life? And I just encourage you this throughout the next 3 days to go home, to pray about it, ask God, hey, what is my word for the year going to be? And get it out, okay? Write it down, put it on your dashboard as you're driving. Get that word out there. What's that overarching vision? Because guess what? The way that you leave 2019 is the same way that you're going to enter 2020. Do you want this next year to be different? Do you want it to be better? Well, enter it on purpose, with goals ahead, saying, this is what I'm going to accomplish in between this door and the next. I realize that I may only have a few doors left, and this is what I want to accomplish in those doors. This is what I want to accomplish in this next year. And then, in that last step, you lay aside the things that have weighed you down, the things that have kept you from reaching your goals throughout this entire year, throughout your life, possibly. And as I'm talking about these doors, the doors to each year, they are not the most important door. I feel like, we put so much focus on the doors of each year. 2020 is going to be a better year. Walk through that door with purpose and patience and power. But these doors are not the most important doors. They are the doors that are preparing us for the most important door at the end of our life. Throughout my mother's life, she walked through 40 doors into New Year's. She walked through 40 of those doors into a new year, year after year. And for many of them, they were like a revolving door, living the same year on repeat. But on November 13th, when I was in 8th grade, November 13th, a month and a half before she would walk into her 41st door, she passed away from a drug overdose. And she left her son and her daughter without a mother. And while we talk about these doors, while these doors are important, that is not the most important door. This door here, yes, into the new year, this isn't the most important door that we can walk through. I want to turn it around. Because one day, after we've gone through all of the doors through our life, after we've gone through every year, we're going to be faced with the door to heaven. We're going to be faced to the door to either eternity with God or eternity separated from him. And what have you chosen to follow throughout your life? Who have you followed throughout every door that you've ever walked through? Are you following your own wants, your own desires, your own passions? Or are you choosing to follow Jesus throughout that? Because guess what? Good people don't go to heaven. Good people don't experience eternity with Jesus. Forgiven people do. My mother, throughout her entire life, she followed after her own wants and her own desires. And on November 13th, she never walked through another door into a new year. And she was faced with the only door that truly matters, the only one that truly matters and echoes all the way into eternity. In John 10:9, Jesus talks about this door. He's talking about how he is the good shepherd, how his sheep know his voice. A stranger they will not follow. And he's talking about how his sheep can be saved. In John 10, verse 9, Jesus says, I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. When we realize that Jesus is the only way, the only truth, the only way to find life, we realize that he is the door. That he is the one who is there, who has been there throughout our entire life, walking through every door with us saying, hey, are you going to follow me? Are you going to choose to make me your leader and forgiver? To walk into 2020, if you haven't Yet, I just want to encourage you. My fourth point is to make a decision. Who are you going to follow throughout this year? Who are you going to follow with your life? Because I can assure you that when you open the door of your heart to Jesus, at the end of our life, he is going to be there opening the door to heaven for us. I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved. At the end of my mother's life, when she was faced with the last door she would ever enter, the door to heaven, she got there and it was locked. Because throughout her life, she hadn't chosen to make Jesus her leader and forgiver. Throughout her life, she had never asked Jesus to come into her heart. She had kept that door to her heart closed. And the door to heaven was closed for her. And the thing is, now she is separated from Jesus for all of eternity. And I know that that is sad, but the thing is, that lights a fire in me. And it gives me vision for my life. To help other people see that, yes, each door into each year is important, but the only door that truly matters that we are ever going to walk into is the door into heaven. And whether or not that door is going to be open for us or it's going to be locked. And the only way to get through that door is to say, Jesus, I let you into my heart. I let you into my life. I choose to make you my leader and forgiver because I realize that you are the door. You are the only door that will ever matter. You are the only thing that will ever bring me peace, that will ever bring me joy, that will ever bring me fulfillment. You're the one who throughout my entire life has been opening every door. And at the end of my life, when I am faced with that door into heaven, I want Jesus to be on the other side, opening it, unlocking it for me, with his arms open, saying, well done, my good and faithful servant. Welcome home. I just want to ask you that question. If you were to never pass into the new decade, if you were to never pass into 2020, and you were to be met with that door into heaven, because of the decision, have you chosen to follow Jesus? Is there fruit in your life that says you are following Christ, that he is the leader and forgiver of your life? Would that door be open, unlocked for you with Jesus on the side, or would it be locked? And the thing is, the way that you get that door to unlock, you don't have to be good. You don't have to earn your way in. Jesus already did that for us on the cross. All you have to do is say, Jesus, I believe you are the Son of God, that you came down from heaven. You lived a perfect life, and you died on the cross to forgive me and all those who believe. And then you say, Jesus, I open the door to my heart for you to come in, knowing full and well that one day you'll be on the other side of the door of heaven, opening it for me with arms outstretched, saying, welcome home. I'm so glad you made it. It's the last door you'll ever pass through. In a moment of privacy and concentration, would you just bow your heads and close your eyes? As I've just spoken this, as I've talked about this, if there's anybody in your life who is near to you but far from God, if there's anybody who is close to you, but you know if they were to meet that door, they would not reach Jesus. If there's anybody in here and you know somebody, I just want to encourage you, would you raise your hand? I want to pray for you. There we go. I see those hands all around the room. I see those hands. Jesus, I just pray that in 2020, we would be greater pursuers of you and that we would pursue people and help them to see that you are the way, that you are the truth, that you are the life, and you are the only door that truly matters. And that if we trust in you, if we choose to let you in our hearts, that we will be saved. And then if there's anybody in this room with a head still bowed and eyes still closed, who has never opened the door of their heart to Jesus, who has never said, Jesus, will you come into my life? I want to be forgiven by you. I choose to make you my leader and forgiver, not in a moment of emotion, but in a moment of truth. If there's anybody in this room who's saying, you know what, I want to follow Jesus, Zachary, will you pray with me? I want to choose to follow Christ. If that's you and you're in this room, would you just raise your hand? I see that hand. I see that hand. Anyone else? I would love for you guys to pray this prayer with me, and I would love everybody to pray this out loud as a reaffirmation of our faith. Say, dear Jesus, I believe you came down from heaven, you lived a perfect life, and you died on the cross for me and all those who believe. I open the door to my heart, and I ask you to come in, make me new, make me clean, and forgive me. It's in Jesus' my name we pray, and everyone said, amen. Awesome. Can we give a round of applause to those who chose to follow Jesus today? if you did take that next step, I just want to encourage you. There's a next step card in the seat back in front of you. I want you to fill that out. Bring it to me. I would love to talk with you about what it looks like to truly follow Jesus every day of your life, what it looks like to open the door of your heart more and more and allow him in each and every day. But with that said, would you guys stand as our band leads us in one more song of worship?